the New 80's Revolution with Jason Nupp, a one and all show full of fun where anything can and does happen. Pickups, fan mail, toy reviews, camping with the New 80's Revolution Jr. Whatever the heck else does not fit into a specific category, Jason covers it right here, folks. And now, the host of the New 80's Revolution, Jason Nupp.
What's up, guys? Jason Nupp, New 80's Revolution, down here in the cave for a special Sunday pickups show. That's right. We have two different rounds of pickups today, ladies and gentlemen. Today was the opening day of one of two flea markets in my area that I frequent, if you will. This one was held at the Rochester Public Market, and during the week it is a public market with food and flowers and veggies and crap like that. In the summer, or this time of year, on Sundays it is called garage sale days, which means it's a flea market. And I do okay there. I go a few times a year and it's all right. There's a second one that's opening next month, a much bigger one that I'm looking forward to. But so we did get some fun stuff from the flea market this morning. The other part of the haul is a fun little unexpected treat. I went to a couple of towns over. I went to a what's called an e-scrap event. So basically, you bring all of your electronics that you want to get rid of, all the electronics that have been clogging up the basement, and you bring them to this event, and you give them away. You donate them. You recycle them. And you get absolutely nothing for it other than space is cleared up in your basement. Well, I had to dump the Zenith console that the System 3 replaced. I dragged that over to the event, and it had been raining here for like 3 days, and when I got there, it was almost over. It was later on in the day, and the organizer fellow was there, and we were talking about the Zenith, and I said, yeah, I love this stuff, and as I'm talking to him, I'm looking at all of the beauty, all of it's all vintage electronics, and by vintage I mean some of the bigger CRT TVs and bins of VCRs and DVD players and telephones and speaker systems, and just I don't know, I never really thought I was that obsessed with, old televisions, but I guess I am. And as I was telling him this stuff, I was like, wow, look at that. Oh, I would love that. And he's like, well, the TV you're given is pretty heavy. Why don't you take a few items? And I say, okay, that sounds wonderful. And so I took a few items, and I'm going to show you those a little later. And they're all rain-soaked, ladies and gentlemen, but we dried them out. We dried them all out. And a couple of them work. The ones that I wanted to work. All right. First, the flea market. I told you, this was on my top 10 Christmas presents of all time list. Not my top 10 grails, but my top 10 Christmas presents of all time. And I did tell you the story about how my sister at Christmas back in the day, as kids, would always get me this Christmas present every year. It was kind of a running joke. And I wanted a vintage bottle of this stuff. And as I started getting into 80s stuff, the Head and Shoulders and all that stuff, I started realizing that people are selling this stuff for stupid prices. And this is on eBay for like $19.99. But that's crazy. And the flea market lady had a bottle of Old Spice aftershave from 1980. That indeed is the date down there. 1980, ladies and gentlemen. And it's in here. And how classic is that? Doesn't that just scream your grandparents' bathroom right there? Ugh. And so I wanted to, it's in here. I poured a little out in my hand, and it came out brown. And then I immediately washed it off my hands. But the smell lingered. So I think the amount that I put in my hand caused all of us in the house to have a bit of a headache. So I think Old Spice is just kind of the little dabble do you kind of thing. But this is just, when I say reeking, I mean in a good way. I mean this smell is just emanating, as they say, from this bottle. So we finally got our Old Spice, and in keeping in the same vein, this was sitting right next to it. The Old Spice was $1, and this was $2. I like 80s stuff, guys. If I ever have the 80s house, I got some products for my bathroom. I've got the aftershave gift collection by Menon. By Menon. Yeah, there it is. We've got aftershave spice scent. We have the regular skin bracer aftershave. We have the burnished leather smell. And then we have wild moss. And that's what our grandfathers and fathers and uncles used to smell like, right there. That is absolutely what my uncle used to smell like. Was Menon skin bracer. Whatever happened to aftershave? You know, you don't see guys doing that anymore. They're not really putting on the aftershave. But boy, oh boy, if there's a smell, olfactory, as we say in the mental health business, if there's an olfactory sensation, it's definitely this old aftershave stuff. Walking in the bathroom, 4th grade, getting ready to get dressed for the day of school, and that bathroom is just filled with aftershave smell. And I don't know, your uncle coming over for a party, and he's got his best golf polo shirt on and his gold chain, and he smells like some Old Spice. Great. If I could find Old Spice today in the store, I'd wear it. It's a nice clean scent. Anyway, came across these. I've seen this guy before at some flea markets and toy shows and stuff. He sells non-sports collectible cards, and he sells them 3 for $5. And so we got 3 for $5. We've got Rocky IV, a sealed Topps Rocky IV card set. My favorite of the batch, we have a Michael Jackson pack of cards. And we have a A-Team pack of cards. Now, and they're sealed and there's gum in there and everything. So I'm going to open these. And I'm going to do the same thing with my wrestling cards. Somebody gave me the idea of putting them in a frame. Getting like an 8x10 frame, or even bigger, probably like 16x20 or so. And just lining the cards up behind the glass, and matting them down, and then you have all of your cards. Because unless you have card books and binders, which I can't do, I have no room for it, it's not happening. You don't see your cards, you open them, and then they're just in a stack, and then you never see them. But I'm gonna open these, and I'm gonna frame them, and then I'm gonna frame my old Topps WWF cards too. Because I haven't seen all of those in a long time. All right, before we get into the e-scrap event, this is kind of a running joke in my house. With the 2 children, there's always mess. There's always scrap on the floor. There's always nuggets of cereal and food and chips and breadcrumbs and whatever, all over, whenever the children eat. And, my wife's always dragging out the Bissell or whatever vacuum cleaner we have. And I'm like, there's a lot that goes into this. Back in the good days, in our kitchen, on the wall, was a dustbuster. And you just grab that dustbuster, you vacuum up those crumbs. You don't need to drag the vacuum cleaner out of the closet. And yeah, that dustbuster hung on the wall like art. It had a rechargeable base that hung on the wall, and that's where you kept your dustbuster because you were practical. So, after, dragging out the vacuum cleaner a bunch of times, I went on the old Amazon about 3-4 months ago, and I bought a dustbuster. A sleek modern one, and I tried hanging it on the wall, and I was not allowed to, which I think is absurd. And so now it's hidden, inconspicuously by its absence, behind the couch, out of sight. Don't want to offend the neighbors by having a dustbuster on the wall. So today at the flea market, I got a boxed, sealed, Black & Decker 1988 dustbuster. That's right. And that is what you're supposed to do with it. Right there. You're supposed to hang it on your wall in your kitchen. I don't know why, but this is one of the visual staples of the 80s for me. Because this was a must-have item, a dustbuster. And you hung it on the rechargeable dock on the wall. Now, this is a little bit more modern. This is 88, 89, and it's all white. There's one out there from 85 or 86 that's got some brown to it. It's got some brown, because everything was brown, wood grain brown. And I want that one too. I want to find that 80s dustbuster with the wood grain brown. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, New Age Revolution collects dustbusters. This has never been opened. That's sealed. That is sealed. I don't know. If I had wall space down here, I'd probably dock this thing. But I don't. So it's going to sit in the box until I can find a spot for it, because this almost has to be hanging on the wall. I don't know. We'll see. There's a little bit of space. So that's the flea market. Good time indeed. That Old Spice is just filling up this room. Let's take a look at the e-scrap stuff. I'll overlay some video here of the stuff. Got some good stuff. What did we get first? Take a look at this. Take a look at this boom box. Oh yeah. This is just sitting in a bin at an electronics recycling event a few towns over. And I was generously gifted this. And it's beautiful. And you know what? It had been sitting in the rain for 3 days. But you know what? We dried it out. We plugged her in. We popped in a Lionel Richie tape. And we got ourselves a working boombox. That excited me a whole lot. And I love this thing. I have a smaller one, but this is the one that this is great. This is the full size. Commodore 64. Interesting. The Commodore 64 floppy disk drive that many Oregon Trail games were played on in school. It is accompanied, of course, by its Commodore 64 keyboard. Guys, these were just sitting around. This is the stuff that people have in their basements and they get rid of at these recycling events. And then from there, the coup de grace, the Zenith, I believe 19-inch. I'm going to say 19-inch. It might be 13-inch, but it is your Zenith portable TV. This is from 1983, ladies and gentlemen. Rain-soaked, but boy, oh boy, does she fire up. And I think if I can figure it out, space-wise, I'm going to get the old Atari hooked up to this thing Ain't She Pretty 1983. But wait, there's more. Let me take you up to the garage and show you something else that I have not cleaned yet, so I haven't brought it down. But, oh, she's pretty too. Here she is, guys. The 1984 Beta Cord Beta player. Oh yeah. Wood grain, of course. Not even going to try to get this thing working. I don't have any beta tapes, and I don't know, the eject button is like gone. And these are all so finicky, but this is just going to be a beautiful little display piece. The 1984, according to that Olympic sticker, Sanyo Beta Cord Beta player. Oh yeah. Moses, smell the roses. All right, so there you have it, guys. I'm in the garage here. Yeah, that's the haul. Pretty pumped about the flea market season opening up. We're going to hit up Avon. That's the big flea market, Avon, New York. My man Todd Burritt is out there. And those are fun. That's a very big flea market. I'm looking forward to that. It's about 45 minutes away, so the drive is really nice in the morning. Liam and I'll definitely hit it up. I'll probably go solo the first time. But anyway, that's I'm pumped about the electronics haul and some of the goods from the flea market this morning. I'm gonna probably do a little table setup downstairs. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to put the TV up. I want to put the beta machine. I don't know. We'll see. The room's closing in again. As you can see, I'm getting a lot of like 80s house stuff. I mean, the dream is still there. So I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have a house with a dustbuster hanging on the wall. Get that beta machine working. Till then, good night now.